All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your seatbelts on. Let's get ready to welcome none other than Regional Vice President, Mr. Dean Tarrolly.
Mr. T, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, you guys, it's good to be here. Let me start where I always start. I do not take this call for granted, and the fact that Mr. Thomas has been doing this for a long time, and a lot of the people that are on this call are not on his team, and that is irrelevant to him. It's how can we, as a team out in the field, how can we do a better job with what it is that we're doing? How can we make a bigger impact, a more significant contribution to our team, to an individual? And that goes back to the leadership. So the fact that he does this call and has done this call for a really long time, I want you guys to think about this. Since we won't be seeing each other for a month or so, I want you guys to think about this. For years and years and years, 9 a.m. Pacific, 5 days a week, getting different speakers, different topics, making sure that there's an environment for the people that want to grow their business and learn these leadership skills and be in an environment like that. That's no easy task. And I just will let you know, Mr. T, I do not take it for granted. I do take it seriously, obviously, as you know. And I appreciate being here. I appreciate you having me. So I know we joke around a lot, but that's legit. So cool. Here we go. So you guys, this, if you remember this month, what I started out saying was, after doing this call for so long that sometimes you feel like you might, maybe I've kind of covered pretty much everything I can cover. And it was Al who said, it's okay to go over the core basic parts of our business. And sometimes, we need to be reminded of that. And that's really happened to me over the course of the last few days. And let me explain. As we become more and more comfortable or familiar with information, right, we can start to add things. We can start to go into extra detail on things that may not be person or environment appropriate, or even needed. But because we've done the business for a while, right? Many of you have done the business for a while. It's almost like maybe we feel like the basics aren't enough. And because we know more, we need to share more and we need to add more. And what I want to tell you is this. So I'm going to use an example. I've used it in the past, but it actually came into play last night. Okay. There's all kinds of different restaurants out there. There's all kinds of different fast food places. And as a general rule, a lot of people, fast food's not good for you, all that. That's okay. But let me make a point. Is how many of you have heard of or have ever eaten at an In-N-Out burger? By the way, I'm telling you, I think it's the best. If you're not in like some kind of gourmet restaurant, whatever, a restaurant that has a drive-through, In-N-Out is the best. It is okay. Awesome. So why do I bring that up? What's on their menu? A single, a double, a triple, fries. What soda do you want, or do you want a shake? That is it. Now, let me ask you guys, In-N-Out expands. They're privately held. In-N-Out expands. Could they add things to their menu? They could. Have they ever added anything to their menu? They have not. Has anybody gone to an In-N-Out burger and have you seen a line through the drive-thru? Has anybody gone to an In-N-Out burger and you've seen a line from the drive-thru that is so long it goes onto the street that the In-N-Out burger is on? How is that possible? They only have a menu that's in white and red, and it's this big. That's it, right? Now, I'm not going to get into the secret menu. That's a whole other conversation. But their main menu, that's it. So why? Here's why. Their ingredients are really good. The orders are simple. They keep things simple. So when I talked to Al before we started this month, and we talked about the basics, the very first week I started, we talked about mindset, and the comp plan. And then the next 2 weeks after that were customer acquisition and team building last week. That leaves us one element on the menu to go over. And that element on the menu is promoting events. It's promoting events. So let me review a couple things really quickly, and then we're going to move forward into this part. So here goes. By the way, I maybe shouldn't have used the In-N-Out example because now I'm actually hungry, and I'm not even hungry, but now I'm okay. So anyway, here's my point. You too, Al. Al just raised his hand. Okay. So here's my point. The first week, we talked about what kind of mindset do you have to do well here, right? Whether you've been in the business for a while. I mean, there's a lot of veterans on here. There's people that have earned positions. I see Baker on here, obviously Roxanne, who's, super committed and has been here for a long time, and a bunch of others. I shouldn't have started naming names because but anyway, you guys get my point. Here's the point with mindset. The most important thing, at the risk of sounding really cliche, what you believe you can achieve, right? I've had a lot of these conversations. I've had a mentor that's been having a lot of these conversations with me lately. So I just want you to know that if you think you can or you can't, you're right. We've covered that before, but I really want you to think about this. What are two of the most important things when we're talking about mindset? Number one is this: do your best to remove the emotion from the responses. And understand that this really and truly is a numbers game. And if you are unemotionally attached to people's responses, you're protecting your business, because you guys already know in advance that some will and some won't. We cover that every Saturday. So number one, that part of the mindset, right? And just know that there is a roller coaster, right? So as you're going through the ups and downs of the roller coaster, that you want to minimize, like, let's not get nauseous, like do little ups and downs, not these huge ups and downs. Okay. So, and have long-term thinking, right? There are short-term goals that we can all have this month. I don't care how long you've been in ACN or how long I've been in ACN. You can have a short-term goal, a monthly customer goal, a monthly team building goal, right? So understand it. Those short-term goals add up to that long-term accomplishment. Done. So there's mindset, and just understanding the comp plan. Here's the message in that, you guys, and that is, it's really a willingness to go into your back office, participate in trainings, and watch the comp plan. Years and years ago, I was at an event in Southern California, actually with co-founder Tony Kupas and a bunch of other people, and there was a discussion before a big event with some of the leaders and with Mr. Kupas, and the conversation went to the comp plan. And the amazing thing is, you guys, the comp plan is the motivator. If you learn the comp plan, if you really take time to go into your back office where everything is sitting there, there is a video that explains the comp plan very, very well and detailed. The comp plan will move you into action when you really realize what's on the table with this compensation plan. How all the residual works, how the bonuses work, what you need to do, and the progression of increasing your stake, if you will, by building a team and acquiring customers. So knowing the comp plan is incredibly important, and it will tell you where to spend your time and how to direct your efforts. So we covered that. Then we covered customer acquisition. I can do this in 5 seconds. Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a huge favor? Can you help me out? And what are the 3 sources of customers? The 3 sources of customers are yourself, anybody who's looked at the business and for whatever reason they chose not to participate with us at this time, and then everyone else. So what happens is the place where I think people stub their toe a little bit is they go to the third one first. They get started and they want to start talking to people about being a customer of the services, when really I think they should look at their own services first, if for no other reason, to be able to be a good representative or spokesperson of the services because you're using them. So yourself, anybody who looked at the business and passed on it, and then everyone else. And if you realize the huge favor approach, the reason why we use that approach is this, you guys, is that people know you. and they know that this is probably not your area of expertise. I mean, if you were to talk to your friend that knows you, hey man, I got started in the company. Will you, I need a couple customers to earn a promotion. It would mean a lot to me. Well, what's it about? Oh, it's a deregulation of gas and electricity. Let me explain rate per therm kilowatt hour. Let me explain MCFs. It's really awesome. Oh, by the way, I can take care of unlocking your phone and bringing your phone over. Unless you owe money on the phone, we have to pay that thing off. And your friend's going to be like, oh my God, what are you talking about? How about this? I took a position with a company. I'm about to earn a promotion. I'm super excited, but I need your help. I need a favor, right? I'm really close to earning this promotion. If I could find you, great value on services that you're already paying for, would you do me a favor? Could we set up a time? Can I show you my store? Done. Done. Now we just covered customer acquisition, right? Don't hammer them with that, sales guy stuff, right? Just let them know you need their help. And people love to help. And here's what'll happen. Ultimately, our goal is that you're helping your friend. And when you can show them and they see that you have helped them, they're going to bring you referrals. It's like, oh my God, why am I not at 30 customer points, 40 customer points? The magic number, 75 customer points. You're now making 10% personal residual and you're getting paid through 5 levels. Why do I know this? And can I speak it? Because I know the comp plan. That was the part I just covered. And then the third part is building a team. So now when you start doing this, why do we want to focus on this team building part? Here's why. Because we can always get more done as a group than we can by ourselves. That also makes the point of how to present the business. The goal is to present group by group instead of one by one. Why? Because it is a numbers game. And if you put 10 people in front of the information, guess what's going to happen? 1 or 2 or 3 are probably going to be interested, maybe some of them even enough to get started. We would ask the other 7, 8, 9 people to be a customer. So the odds are now in your favor because you're following a system of you win by getting a customer or you win by having somebody look at the business. And something I learned a long time ago, how do you really judge the success of a presentation, if you want to call that, or an exposure? Hang on. I know you guys are like, this guy still does not need coffee when he does this call, but you're stuck with me. Here's the thing. When you understand that it is a game of exposures, and what would you all say when we show someone the business, what's one of the objections that tends to show up a lot? What's one of the things that the general person, right? They're looking at a home meeting or they're looking at whatever. What is one of the general things that people come up with as to maybe why they have to wait, or it may not be a fit, or you don't understand? Right. Number one is don't have the money. And what's the other one? There's money and I'm so no time. There she goes. Rocks. So time and money. So how do we address that in an overview? How do we address that as we're building a team? You lean on and rely on the leader to be able to create the relationship between getting time and money together, and how this is the vehicle to do it, right? A half an hour here, an hour there, nothing for a couple days, right? Whatever someone wants to do out of this is absolutely available. Now, hang on one second. It's absolutely available. Now, here's the key. When we talk about building a team, or recruiting is the word, remember what I said last week, that it is a complement. You're sharing an opportunity for someone to be a part of what we're doing, which is absolutely awesome, right? I heard and was taught something really significant over the course of the last couple of days. And here's what it is. It's like, hey man, like we need your help. Like this company is growing and we need your help to accomplish the goals that this company has, and you can get compensated very generously for it with our compensation plan. That's the timing that we're in, right? It kind of equated to being like at the beginning of Uber or any big opportunity, because technology has created these opportunities. So that should give somebody a lot of confidence in how to move forward because of what we have our hands on here. So now we've reviewed just now, right? Mindset and comp plan, customer acquisition, and team building. Here we go. The third key is promoting events. So let me kind of share it with you guys like this. I like to be in the business of under promising and over delivering. I do my best to do that. So I won't convince someone to do the business. I won't convince someone about the services. I won't convince or sell them on any of those things. But if someone is on the team or someone is genuinely interested and they're showing that, I will sell, for lack of a better word, with everything I have coming to the events. And let me explain why. The events are where big events are where big decisions are made. Big events are where big belief is created. Why? Because now it's not just you and another person and a guest on a Zoom. Now it's you, Daryl, Adrian, Zach, Sensational Sharian, Baker, Corey, Freddie, Marvetta. It's you guys, Kush. It's you guys now with your person at an event with 100, 200, 300. The events that we had as a company, our national trainings before COVID were 15 to 20,000 people in an arena. Just by a show of hands, for those of you who have been around, who remembers those days? Did it do something to you when you walked in and you looked around? Yeah, there go all the hands. You looked around and there's all these people. Here's what happened for me. When I went to my first national event to kind of like explain the power of events and how ACN, unlike any other company, does events. When I walked into my first event over a decade and a half ago, yes, we're going to get back to those events, Kush. When I walked into my first event over a decade and a half ago in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was like 7,000 or 8,000 people, and I walked in, here's what I did. When I walked into the arena or the convention center area, I just spun around. I looked around and I'm like, oh my God. And I had this relief. And let me tell you what the relief was. Do you guys want to know what it was? I want to know if you want to know what my relief was when I walked into that arena. You want to know? Here's what I thought. I went, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that sees something here. And here's what I knew. They didn't bring out 7,000 people for me. Those 7,000 people were going to be at that event, whether I was there or not. So here's what I realized, right? That there was a massive opportunity here, right? So you guys, for those of you who live in a big city, right, or you know, big like metropolitan area, how much space does it take to get to 7,000 people? That's a neighborhood. People, oh my God, that's so many people. Really? There's 330 million people in the US. We're talking about 7,000? That hasn't even hit that hasn't even hit the scale. That's how much this opportunity lies ahead of us. So when we go back to promoting events, here's a couple things to understand. Number one is this, is when I talk about events and promoting, the people that are really good at promoting events, it goes like this, you guys. Amateurs promote a business. Professionals promote a person. So what does that mean? The events are the people. And what does that mean? Who's going to be there? Who's going to be there? So then your job in promoting events is getting really good at knowing some of the stories of the leaders that are going to be at whatever the event is that you are promoting. So when you're talking about promoting an event, I think the best way to understand promoting events is promoting the leader that you are working with. So now we have to take a quick step back, define the difference between a leader and a participant. It's very simple because there's participants in ACN and there are leaders. And let me be very clear, they're both equally awesome. They are great. One is not better than the other. They are just different. Here's the difference. By the way, would you guys like to know what the difference is? If you are a participant, you have to build your business on the schedule of the leader. That's it. The leader just has more control because here's what a leader can do. A leader can lead a meeting. A leader can present the business. A leader can promote into the next event. a leader knows how to get somebody launched and started. Well, if you are a participant, which is great, you just have to rely on and work with the schedule of the leader. Why is that important? Because when you guys start getting really good at promoting events, there will be people that you will see right before your eyes that will want to, and some of them will accomplish moving from participant to leader. They're both equally great. One of them just has more control time-wise, schedule-wise, and a little bit ability-wise because they've made a choice to learn how to do these things. I'll give you an example. Check this out. And this all comes back to events, and then we'll wrap everything up. So watch this. Rox, can you unmute for a second? Roxanne. So this is Roxanne Corleo. You guys know her. She, she's one of my dear friends. She's a regional director. She's been #1 in the company, right? I want you guys to think about this. Roxanne, when is the last time I had to help you sign up a customer?
Oh, did we ever do that? Sign up a customer? I mean, I don't think ever. I just rolled with it.
She did, but here's what she did. She was willing to learn, and she's like, "Okay, this is simple. I got this." Now here's another one. It's not the last time I did it. When was the last time that you needed me because you couldn't present to someone?
Any scheduling conflict, yeah, that would be the only thing.
Did you guys hear what she said? The only reason would be one of two reasons that I would be presenting for Roxanne or her team. Okay. Number one is if she had a time conflict. And that's what we're here for. We're a team. Here's the second one, and this is important. The second one is if Roxanne wants to show someone that she has a relationship with, that knows her background as someone who owned a locksmith, a 24-hour emergency locksmith business, or they know her from something other than what we're doing, you bring in someone else for that event, a 2-on-1, a PBR, whatever the case may be, because that person knows her. So we want to eliminate that being an issue of credibility. Like Roxanne, Roxanne says, like, I'm good at breaking into cars. What do you know about the deregulation of whatever? Well, I don't, even though I do, but you don't know me that way. So I need to introduce you to someone that I've built the credibility in, the person. So now when you say those words, my guest is going to have a different view because I have created value in you. That's promoting an event. Promoting an event is not a place. It's not a thing. It's the people. It's who's going to be there. So if you want to get really good at promoting events, just get really good at promoting the people that are going to be at the event. And here's the thing, you guys, there's a way to do it and promote events that I believe is effective and ineffective. Here goes. Hey, so are you guys going to the event? So, it's going to be really great. And I'm going to be there and he's going to do his thing. And there's going to be other leaders on his team. My friend, this guy that I know, his name is Brian. His name is Brian Baker. He's a really good guy. And there's this other girl, her name is Roxanne. And, she's really amazing. She's like, oh my God, I'm sounding like I'm falling asleep talking about that. You guys, if that's kind of your personality, here's what I'm encouraging you to do. Have a Red Bull before you start talking to people about the events. Have an espresso shot. Have a little bit of pulse and excitement. And I'm not saying to be don't weird people out, but you guys, there has to be a level of excitement and enthusiasm about what's going on. So let's talk about the events. Here goes. The first most important event that anybody can have is a private business reception or a private business Zoom. Why? Because now we're exposed by group instead of one by one. So that's the most important one. So if you're new or you've been around and you haven't had one in a while, you want to have a group meeting and let the system go to work for you, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in a room. I'm telling you, if they're invited properly, we covered that last week, and they come over, I'm letting you guys know that in my opinion, 1 or 2 or 3 are getting started, or at least they're going to want to come see a second exposure. Okay. A private business reception in your home, living room, clubhouse. If you live in maybe like apartment community or whatever, physically together. And if they're all over the country, then you do a private business Zoom. Same thing over Zoom. That's it, where you're presenting group by group. That's the first thing. The second one is this. If somebody can't make it, and maybe it's scheduled challenging, a 2-on-1 meeting over a cup of coffee or on a Zoom is great. What does that look like? You, your leader, and your guest. Your only job, you guys, in every instance of promoting an event, your only job is to connect your person with the leader at the event. That is your job. Connect your person with your leader. Let your leader go to work for you. What's another event? Typically like a weekly briefing. Now, before the pandemic, those would be physically in a place where there would be a Tuesday briefing or a Thursday briefing. And how would that work? All of the 2-on-1 meetings and the PBRs or PBZs would funnel into a weekly meeting. Here's where there's a little more production value. There is, it's typically in like a hotel or maybe an office space where now you're seeing all these different people, all the different race, creed, color, tall, short, all these different people here. And here's what happens from that. People, their defenses start to come down because now they can see themselves in the other people that are there. That's why building events like this is so important, because if people can identify with someone, now their resistance drops, their level of excitement goes up because now they don't feel alone. Like when I walked into walked into the national. So then what do we do from the group meeting, a weekly meeting or the weekly private business Zoom or team Zoom? Everything promotes into Saturday training. Saturday training is like your report card of what took place over the course of the week. That's how it works. When you guys build into a Saturday training, you're kind of showing everybody and yourself and your team that there's been exposures that have happened. So, the old line used to be, man, I will see you at Saturday training. Hey, what do I do next? I will see you at Saturday training, or whatever that training is that you and your team have to start showing the system working. From a Saturday training, what would be the next one? A leadership event. Different teams do different leaderships, right? We have a leadership coming up in a month and a half, a month from tomorrow in Palm Desert. It's going to be crazy. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Palm Springs, California. And it is going to be awesome. Those leadership events train and do hands-on training the way that a national isn't designed to do. And then those events lead into our national training. So when I tell you guys that the older we get, the faster time goes by, right? When you start utilizing and building from event to event, you're going to realize that you're making this business much simpler than most people do, because you're taking a leap of faith, putting your new person in front of your leader and let the leader move them into action. That typically happens at events. I'm letting you guys know, if you want to remember this, I believe that big decisions are made at big events where people are at a national training like the one we're going to be together in Orlando, Florida, first weekend of September. You are going to see people get promoted to positions. You are going to hear the announcements from the company and the co-founders. You're going to hear about the expansion plans of new services that are coming. And I promise you, here's what you're going to feel. You are going to be excited and you're going to be upset in the same minute. You are going to be excited because you are there and you can't believe what you're seeing. And you are going to be upset because you're going to wish you had 25 more people with you, because very difficult to take that event back home and do all the production value by yourself, to do all the announcements by yourself. So if you take that leap of faith, that getting people to the events does everything. And Roxanne, I know you're still unmuted, and I think you probably know what I'm going to ask you to do. As I wrap up, you guys, I want you to hear that this is not just me teaching and training you on this. Like, I have taught and trained my team on this, and there was an event this last weekend that Roxanne was at with a brand new business partner, and I want her to explain to you guys what was going on before the event and what happened as a result and after. You guys, please listen to this, because this story can happen for anyone and everyone that gets really good at promoting events. Rox, can I turn it back over to you for a second?
Absolutely. So I just want y'all to know this is how well I know my RVPs. I knew he was going to call on me again. And if I muted, I would have to get permission to unmute again. So I stayed unmuted. Mr. Thomas did allow me to share, and I did share with whoever was on the call the other day, but I'll go ahead and say that again. I had a new rep that I was working with. We both traveled to the event. It was about 5 hours for me, and I was doing a whole bunch of other traveling and stuff as well. And about 3 hours, I think, for him. But we traveled, we got there, and one of the biggest things was the edification, the cross edification from every single leader, just introducing him to people. So with everybody just edifying me, him knowing me for 30 days, he doesn't know me all that well. And then just us working together. So that was huge. And not only was it just the edification from other people, but Tony Kupis. I instantly, the moment he walked in and I said, can you hang tight 1 second? Let me go get someone. I ran inside, grabbed my new rep, brought him out, introduced him to Mr. Kupis, and he said hi and instantly started edifying me. And that speaks volumes. And that can happen with anybody, you guys. So if you're not bringing your new reps to these leaders, to everybody on stage, to the co-founders, then you're missing out tremendously. And because of that, his edification stepped up so it was just how he edified me was so great because he got to hear it from other people that he got me on a Zoom with someone on Tuesday, and she was already in. He was talking about me, and she was already in before I presented. And this is the epitome of you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, because she was still open-minded, and she goes, "Oh, a leader, someone that'll take you where you want to go. I got this. I'm in. Like, I don't even know what we're selling. I don't know what we're offering. I don't know what this is about." And I said, I love that. That's fantastic. Open-minded. You're exactly who we're looking for. But let me go over a couple slides real quickly so you know what you're getting into, because that's what we're looking for. We need to qualify you first. So I said that to her instead of just signing her up willy-nilly. I said, let me share a couple of things, because she didn't know that there was a price to start it. And then, yeah, so she's signing up on tomorrow. We're signing her up tomorrow, hosting a PBZ for her before she even enrolls, because she's all in. But because of the event, he signed up his own Vivint. I just got the message. It's fully installed already today. He got his own Vivint. He reached out to someone who also got their Vivint account because we were there at the event, and reached out to someone who's getting TrueV Travel. So 3 services and 1 rep, just because I showed up with him and kept my mouth shut and just introduced him to people and allow him to absorb everything. And I didn't have to do anything except the presentation on Tuesday, but she was already in. He sold me before I started.
That's awesome. You guys think about this. 3 services and a rep, because Roxanne got her new business partner to the event and got the person in front of Tony Kupis. Could everybody do what Roxanne just described? Yes or no? The number one person you need to promote to is yourself. Lead by example, be at these events, and then get them into that event culture so they can see the bigger picture and have an opportunity to meet people like Roxanne Baker or Al Thomas. You guys, I'm going to leave you with this. And Mr. T, thanks for the extra couple minutes. I just wanted to make sure we wrapped up the month okay for you. All right, cool. So check this out. You guys, I've told this story a bunch of times about the event that I was at in Vegas, that I was training at, and I had challenges. And Mr. Thomas and I walked in the corridor, and he kind of helped. He helped me significantly, but we stepped away so we could have a private conversation. And it was right before or right after lunch, something like people were kind of shuffling back in. So we didn't miss, any of the training, but we were able to spend that time together. So I want you guys to know this. Man, I hope you follow along. That conversation with Al would not have happened if there wasn't an event. My conversation with him that I remember to this day would not have happened if I was not at that event. Or if Al wasn't at that event, I would not have had the ability to be able to have that conversation with him. So you don't know the value of the events. Last night, there was an event, which Al, I always thank you for that conversation. Last night, there was an event in Southern California in Castaic. I have a new business partner. Some of you have heard from, and we talked about her before. Her name is Sherry, and Sherry has a new business partner on here named Stephanie. Well, Stephanie hears Roxanne. Oh gosh, you guys get this. Stephanie hears Roxanne on a leadership call yesterday that I did. And Roxanne talked about the story she just shared with you about driving 5 hours from Lubbock to Dallas with her new rep. Stephanie, who lives in like the Orange County area of Los Angeles, you guys know that Orange County is not close to Castaic, right? So just so you know, it's a 2-hour drive minimum with traffic. And here's what Stephanie says to me. She goes, well, now I guess I got to go to the event. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? She goes, well, Roxanne drove 5 hours to go to the event. I'm only 2 hours away. I guess I got to go. Here's the magic. She drives to the event in Castaic. I get a chance to meet her in person for the first time because we've done these Zooms. I've met Sherry, but I haven't met Stephanie in person. But Stephanie has a conversation with Laura Noches, who is Jeff Weber's better half, and they find out that they live 5 minutes away from each other. They find out that they live 5 minutes away from each other. So now I have a business partner and a leader who are right next to each other that we're going to be able to help build our business. That does not happen if Stephanie doesn't make the decision to go, which comes from getting her on a Zoom event where she could hear Roxanne tell her story. Are you guys connecting the dots on this or no? That happened because people are plugging into the event. So that's the message, you guys. We get customers, we build teams, we promote the events. The events are the people. Get them in front of the people that are building this business, and utilize and let the system go to work for you. Better results in less time. So that's what I got for this month, Mr. T. I hope it was helpful. I'll turn it back over to you.